Hello, fathers, dads, buds, and lads. It's Trent. Fatherhood Confessions here, coming right at you. This is another Feature Friday. And we're going to be on here for the next 30 minutes or so, depending on the flow of things. And if I feel like pulling the plug on it, I will, because I'm in charge. So, what I want to do is I want to look at an issue in our society when it comes to parenting, but specifically fatherhood. I mean, how many of you know, if your father's out there, or your past fathers, present fathers, or someday will be a future father, and that's in the plans for you, how many of you know that it's so easy to get caught up in trying to live through your child? It's very tempting. It's luring. This whole idea of living vicariously through your child, it certainly is an epidemic. I mean, I grew up a huge sports fanatic. I was involved in every sport in high school. Like, it was an integral part of who I was, and it is a part of who I am today. But when I was a kid, I grew up playing floor hockey, played on the school team, basketball, soccer, baseball teams. It was a competitive life for me when it came to sports. And I had the drive, and I had the passion and desire to be the best and to get better and to create disciplinary boundaries and principles that maybe shoot for the best, because I wanted to be the best. I wanted to win. But the interesting thing about my story and all of that is that my father did not at all drive me to do it. It was just something I, in a raw manner, just picked up on my own. I took a vested interest in it right from the get-go, and I just had this absolute innate desire to want to compete in the world of sports. And my father was not involved in creating that, or pushing me in that, or towards being good and being the best. It was just me. It was driven by me. But there are incidents, there's parents out there, there's fathers that are trying to keep the drive alive. They're trying to do whatever they can to live through their child. And I'm telling you, it is an epidemic. So I want to tackle that for a few moments, because I think it's very important for us to get a handle on exactly why we exist as fathers, as parents, is an integral cornerstone of our kids' lives. It is absolutely instrumental that we be more in tune with their journey and who they are and the maturing into and developing into, than trying to preserve what we left in the past and trying to in some way resurrect it. Now, if you have no idea what the term vicarious means, or living vicariously through your child, and it comes to sports, it could be anything at all, really. But this is from goodtherapy.org, and they say this about living vicariously through your kids, or through children as parents. They say, parenting culture can be competitive, shame-inducing, and very exhausting. We know that firsthand experience. Very exhausting. So when combined with a parent's regret, so something they either missed out on in the past, or they failed, a goal they failed to reach in their own childhood, what they end up doing is that they project their dreams upon their children and try to accomplish those through the effort, toil, and discipline of their kids to make it happen. And they will push their kids to great lengths to get there. That is bad news. It's scarring. It really does. Now let me just throw this at you tonight. If you are a present, past, or future parent, father, I'm coming at you with this because I care much about you. I care much about your endeavor as a dad, your life as a dad. And I want to help you. And this is the whole point of FC, Fatherhood Confessions, is to help fathers navigate parenting through honest and candid conversation. That is why this channel exists. And I heard a crazy statistics that I know in North America, 60+% of men are dads of 18 and older, and that's pretty intense, pretty crazy to think that way. So before we get into the Feature Friday video and blurb on this this theme of living vicariously through your kids, I want to throw something at you, and I think it would be good. And if you have children in sports, if you are a very competitive father, maybe you had a competitive past, and that kind of try to hang around in your life, and you probably see little hints of it kind of coming out and projecting it on your kids. Some signs that you might be trying to live through your child's life. These very well may be, or maybe not, I don't know. But these are some signs that you could very well be trying to live vicariously through your kids. So becoming obsessively involved in your kid's life in every activity, no matter what the expense, even on your own well-being, like mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, even to the depravity of your own hobbies and your own likes and enjoyment. We call that helicopter parenting. Next one, forcing children to do things they don't want to do that are unnecessary and have no additional benefits. For instance, we could say to our kid, eat these vegetables, they're healthy. There's a correlation between eating vegetables and being healthy, but there's no correlation between you got to play basketball or you're going to be a bad person, or you have to go to this camp, or you have to perform this duty in order to be a good boy or good girl. There's no correlation. It's completely different. Next one, making decisions about your child's life because of your own disappointments. So every decision comes from our disappointment in ourselves, or maybe that our fathers were disappointed, and so we're trying to as innocently and as intentionally as possible, we're trying to break that curse, so to speak, but it ends up coming out and translated different to our children, right? So for instance, if like my son played soccer, he tried hockey, other things, and he went to 2 or 3 practices with hockey and just decided, I don't like this, I don't want this. So instead of me saying you have to because dad loves hockey and dad wants to, wants you to try it and wants you to go for it and wants you to be the best player in the world, no, I backed off. It was his decision. Seeing your child's behavior and activities as a reflection of your own worth. So you put way too much investment, too much worth in what they're doing because you think and somehow it'll reflect you. Ignoring your child's needs and interest by forcing them one way, there could be an open door on the other side of the room that they're kind of looking at as they're going this way, and you're pushing them that way. Ignoring your child's punishing a child for poor performance. So you miss a shot, missed an opportunity, you messed up a play, and then you punish them by making them get up at 4 o'clock the next morning to work arduously and with amounts of energy that they don't have because they messed up. Telling your child how to think about certain hobbies and certain things. At the end of the day, children are children, but they are little people that can choose. They will see, they will hear, they will be influenced by their peers, by their friends to want to do something. I mean, we can introduce, we can kind of place it in front of them and encourage them to try it, but at the end of the day, that whether they do it or not does not reflect on whether they are good or bad. Okay, with that, just some a quick tidbits of information. If you think, man, I very well might be heading down that road, these are really good tips. So with that, I want us to look at there's a documentary that came out maybe 2013 by HBO, a documentary called State of Play, Trophy Kids. And the documentary covered 4 parents and 4 children. And these parents were heavily involved with their children's activities. One was playing golf. One was playing soccer. No, one was playing golf, baseball, basketball, and tennis. And these parents were helicopter parenting. They were pushing their kids. Honestly, I watched it a week ago. I didn't even know the documentary existed. And I was just appalled by how these parents can be so unaware of what they're doing to their kids' emotions. It just ripped me up inside. It was so, if you haven't watched it, I believe there's a free viewing of it on YouTube. So just type in Trophy Kids or State of Play, I believe it's called. So this documentary, it journeys with 4 parents and 4 kids and their kind of evolution in the sport they're playing, and it gives commentary on the parents to the kids. And there's one particular comment that one dad said. I'm not going to mention any names of anybody in the video because you can watch it for yourself. But one parent said to his daughter when being interviewed by a cast of interviewers, I guess, they asked him some question, and he said, "You have to make your children buy into your dreams." That's totally wrong. That's totally wrong. We're not here as parents to get our kids to buy into your dreams, whether it's the PGA Tour or the NBA or some professional platform where they're, solidified in the sport, they're popular and they're making money. That is not why we exist as dads, as parents, to get kids to buy into our dream. Not even remotely close. Not at all. So what I want to show you right now is a little clip. And this clip is a clip I found online. I want you to view the attitude that parents and even some coaches that for the most part, end up as coaches, but they are parents. But see the great lengths that they're willing to go to ensure their kids make it big in the sport at all costs. But just have a look at this and tell me what you think.
Chloe Rodriguez is made from the DNA of a former college football player. Not that of her father, who never made it past high school ball, but of a 6'3", 230-pound tight end with blue eyes, blonde hair, and huge calves.
For $169, Mom and Dad swab the inside of the child's cheek to find out whether or not the child has a specific variation of DNA that would allow him or her to excel in power sports like football.
Youth sports training is a $4.5 billion industry.
Sports training in the U.S. is a $4.5 billion. That's insane. Wow, we continue.
Physical education, PE, has disappeared from schools.
Youth sports programs are supposed to teach kids good sportsmanship, which is why a brawl between coaches at a Pee Wee football game in Texas is attention and outrage.
Parents attacking referees, yelling at young players, even threatening their own children.
I'm gonna get you tonight because you let me down, bro.
I mean, I got to stop that. That is an incredible, riveting clip. I'm going to get you tonight because you're letting me down. Just listen to what he says here.
I don't care if you win or play 100%. I'll get you, buddy. Cry about that.
You can.
I will get you, buddy. Cry about that. See, we don't understand. When we take such activities and events, sports in this case, so seriously, we end up fear-mongering our children into becoming better. Well, supposedly it's what we think. But what it ends up doing, ends up causing a fear of fatherhood, a fear of us as their dads, as guides, as protectors, as caretakers, providers, to give our kids the essence of what we believe to be direction to live a full, healthy, successful life. We rob them of that. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue.
See 11-year-old Nick Nasenbenny pinning his opponent, and then suddenly the other boy's father grabs Nick and throws him off his son.
Rob says he was being paid to play youth football, sometimes in the thousands. The money was a payoff from men who had won bets on his performance.
Well, a 13-year-old from Delaware has already received a verbal agreement on a football scholarship.
There's a new high school football palace being built whose $60 million price tag has some outsiders criticizing.
People are losing their jobs. You're building a $60 million stadium.
A judge sentenced Thomas Junta to 6 to 10 years in state prison for the beating death of Michael Costin at a youth hockey practice.
A father beats another father to death at a youth hockey practice? Like, that, I mean, that's just appalling. That's ridiculous. That is injustice. I mean, it's so hard to come up with the adjectives to express this type of absurd behavior. Wow, it's incredible. I don't know about you, but I mean, we have an issue on our hands, and it's still alive today. And I'll tell you a story. I know of a parent. I'm not going to say where, who, and when, but I remember I was coaching a girls' soccer team one time. And it's young girls, ages maybe age 10, and it was just a happening in the game. Kids play, kids aggressively going for the ball. What ended up happening is one kid, it trips over the other kid, and by mistake, it was total mistake, just going after the ball. It's state of play. That's how it is. The father came racing off the stands and pushed this referee to the ground because he didn't call a foul. This is the stuff that we have to avoid. We have to veer away from, because at the end of the day, it's creating our kids an angst, a nervousness, a questioning about who it is we are and who it is that's leading them. Right? But I digress again. So let's continue on.
High school football players collapsed while out practicing the heat, and they both later died.
Mark Downs, a T-ball coach outside of Pittsburgh, was arrested for offering an 8-year-old
This is insane.
$25 to injure an autistic player before the playoffs. And Downs reportedly didn't want to use the autistic player.
So he had an autistic player on his team, and he paid somebody off to injure them because he didn't want them to play. How degrading is that? I mean, the question I ask myself, the question we need to ask ourselves, is that what we want to reflect and project as fathers, as dads? I mean, there's a slogan that we use here in our small town. Our village is small. We love them all. So there's this awareness that it takes a village to raise a child. So think about it. Think about if that was your child, you know. It's often missed. But let's go.
The father who pushed steroids on his own son, and the son who helped send him to jail for it.
I was pushing him for both of us because I liked it and he loved it.
When I was a kid.
Here's another clip. So a father is so ingrained with his son growing and maturing and playing baseball or playing the sport that he wants him to play, that he's willing to inject him with steroids to the point where the son finds out and has him arrested and incarcerated for such an act. Unbelievable. Would living vicariously through our kid, folks, if not careful, if we don't nip it in the bud, this is what potentially could happen.
Sports were fun. I always wanted to play in the NFL, but I wasn't big enough. I always wanted to play in the NBA, but I definitely wasn't tall enough. I always wanted to be a professional athlete, but I just wasn't good enough. This is my best friend, Leland. He's 6'8". He was the big man on campus. He played basketball at Michigan. He even played pro. He thought it'd be fun to coach and give back to the kids, but no one warned him about their parents.
Hear that? So this guy who played amateur basketball, played NBA basketball, he comes back, settles down, and decides he wants to give back to kids. And so his greatest threat that he is unaware of are the parents. That certainly speaks volumes, doesn't it?
What's the ultimate goal for your son?
First round draft pick. I shouldn't be telling this, and I'm actually right now for beating up his last basketball coach.
Wow. And you laugh at that? Like that's okay and fine? That you're on probation because you decided based on a game. I feel like Allen Iverson back in the 90s. Not a game. Practice. But you're rejoicing in the fact, you're laughing, you're smiling over the fact that, wow, you're on probation because you mishandled. That is unbelievable.
I've never seen parents so crazy over their kid's ability at such a young age.
He wants me to wake up at...
I want you to wake up at 7 a.m. and do your workouts. Working out is as important as your basketball training.
You find yourself living through them, vicariously through them?
Not vicariously, man. Strictly.
Well, I think we're going to end the video there. But here, this guy asks this dad if he's living vicariously through his child. So he decides to take it one step further and says, I'm strictly living through him. I'm strictly living through him. Unreal. Well, I want to cover a few more things, and then we'll bring her to a wrap there, gents. But before we go, I want to just look at a couple things. A couple quotes here I want to just mention before you guys take off, and we bring this to a close. It's a parent's job to do what is in their child's best interest. And that includes the parent dealing with his or her own emotions in ways that best further the healthy development of the children. When we as parents, we try to get our needs met through our kids' activities, personalities, characters, opportunities, however you want to put that, it puts so much pressure on the children. And what it ends up doing, it ends up reversing the role. The focus should be on us helping the parent, but what we're doing is getting the kid, right? The parent to help the children, but then we reverse it and we put the emphasis on the children helping us. Should never be like that. Anyway, if this is your first time on FC, Fatherhood Confessions, why don't you go ahead? If you like the content, if you're a dad and you want to join a fraternity, a family, where we just talk honestly about fatherhood and hold each other up, encourage each other along this very difficult and challenging journey. And remember, we're not perfect, but we're perfectly needed. So go ahead and click that subscribe button, ring that bell so you're notified when I come out with a new video or when I go live, okay? Hey guys, it has been awesome. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time here on Fatherhood Confessions. Peace out.